more interesting to do? Being too popular can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much? Boring! Isn't there anything else more interesting to do? sword from shadow. Incoming. Good.
Teamwork is dreamwork! Let's light it up!
Test subject.
Don't blink.
Teamwork is dreamwork.
Fry.
Prepare to be blown away. Nowhere to hide. Speed of light. Hey!
That tingle? Fry. Fry. That tingle?
Shower me with praise.
Test
The show begins! Let the world collide! Cut to the chase!
Let's light it up. I'm going in.
Ha! Yeah! How brilliant! Don't blink! I'll be fine. Nowhere to hide. Incoming! Stronger than I thought. Prepare to be blown away! By royal decree!
Let's light it up. Everybody stand back.
Midnight Phantasmagoria. No rest for the wicked.
The show begins! Time to shine! Windblade!
Adventure time.
By royal decree, Midnight Phantasmagoria!
Let's light it up! Don't worry, I got this.
How brilliant! Oz, reveal thyself!
Didn't see that coming. Everybody stand back!
May I present? Let the world come alive! Prepare to be blown away! How brilliant!
Let's light it up!
By royal decree. Windblade. The show begins.
Off we go!
How brilliant!
Off we go! Adventure I'm going in! Let's light it up! Yeah!
Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Xiangling. I'm a chef from Li. Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Xiangling. I'm a chef from Liyue. My favorite place is the chicken. Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Xiangling. I'm a chef from Liyue. My favorite. Hello. Everything's ready. Let's go. Everything's ready. Let's go.
you'd like to learn the proper etiquette, I'd be happy to teach you. Being too popular can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much? Tea parties are a must for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper...
Is there anything I can do for you two? I'm afraid that Wangsheng Funeral Parlor isn't in the best state to receive guests.
We've come to see Zhongli. Could you please tell him we're here?
Unfortunately, Zhongli isn't here at the moment. It seems he went to Northland Bank.
Doesn't the Northland Bank belong to the Fatui? Last time we saw Zhongli was before we went to the Golden House. Do you think he doesn't know about the attack on Liyue? Visiting the Fatui at a time like this could only mean more trouble. We had better go and make sure that everything is okay.
Splendid! More interesting trinkets for me. Being too popular can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much? Tea parties are a must for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette, I'd be happy to teach you.
Bang!
Holy cuisine is inedible. You call this cooperation between harbingers? Cooperation involves communication, you know.
Don't take it to heart, child. Besides, aren't you happy that you got to skip the formalities and bring chaos to the land? I'm sure you must have enjoyed that. Oh, it seems that some of your friends have arrived.
Hey, it's Zhongli and Child. And you! You're also one of the Harbingers?
It's you two. I believe we've met once before. In the city of Bards, was it? I'm glad you still remember my name. Ah, right. I imagine that it must have been rather hard to forget watching helplessly as something precious was snatched away from your friend.
No, don't let her get to you! You've yet to gather the powers of all 7 elements, and our last battle at the Golden House was almost more than you could handle. So it might be best to keep things peaceful this time.
Well, if it isn't you two. This is our first time seeing each other since Liyue was nearly wiped off the map.
Paimon knew that we should never have trusted a Fatui Harbinger.
Oh, now don't say that. Sure, I may have misled you, but I never had anything. Besides, I thought we were getting along quite well together, didn't you? Nothing personal. We just have different views, that's all. Of course, the real deceivers here are Senora and Zhongli. Curse them for... So actually, I think...
Stop wasting time, child. There'll be plenty of time to chat once I'm through here. You remember the agreement, Morax. Now, if you would be so kind. Then...
What in the world are you talking about?
The contract is fulfilled. That which thou seeketh is now bestowed unto thee. For my promise.
How sanctimonious.
What? So you're... No, wait! That's an exciting twist and all, but why give the Gnosis to the Fatui?
I do not give it for free.
Yeah, you don't think you went a little bit too far with that whole fake death thing? Everyone was preparing the ceremony for you, and splat! This big dragon falls out of the sky, and all of Lyric goes into an uproar.
Gathering all the
Wait, what?
Perhaps it's best that I explain. As you know, I've dwelt upon this world for more than 6,000 years. It is now even boulders that can withstand whirlpools will erode with the passing of time. Until one drizzly day, as I was strolling along the harbor, I heard a merchant tell one of his workers, "You finished." I stood motionless among the crowds, asking myself, have I already finished my...
Oh, Zhongli.
But as I began to consider relinquishing my divine role, was Liyue, the city I had dwelt in for so long, already... So I feigned my own death. That's right, which is why I continued to safeguard the Gnosis until now.
So you mean that if the chaos ever reached the point of no return, you would simply appear and use your divine powers to bring Lilith back under control?
Of course, and it would have been all too easy for him too. Just as a child quickly matures after losing their parents, so has Liyue matured when faced with the death of its deity.
In the end, the resolution to all that has transpired was even more satisfactory than I could have hoped for. Take the Adepti, for instance. Owing to their years of seclusion, they were the least informed. Yet when faced with a crisis, they commendably showed the greatest amount of restraint possible. Not only did they manage to cooperate with the Qixing, but in the end, they even made efforts to understand the hearts of the people. Credit is also due to Senora, the emissary dispatched by the Cryo-Archon to fulfill our contract. At my request, she kept everything she knew in strict confidence. This despite the eavesdropping ears of her colleague, Child. This meant I could remain as Zhongli, even having the chance to fulfill the age-old traditions of Liyue in this mortal form. Thank you for joining me on this journey, Traveler. All of these things turned out as I had planned. There is only one thing that I had not anticipated, and that was the conduct of the Liyue Qixing. I had expected them to do no more than the Adepti, to come to the defense of Liyue. They seized the opportunity to supplant Liyue as divine protectors, and used the subsequent power vacuum left by my death to quickly gain complete
Huh? That doesn't sound good at all.
On the contrary, I think it is excellent. I had always feared that it was too soon for them to take over from me.
Hey, what about me? Doesn't anyone feel the least bit of remorse for deceiving me? You've practically kept me in the dark!
I think that thanks would be more appropriate. You certainly played no small part in all of this. If you hadn't created the pressure of a battle between mortals, adepti, and a god...
Huh? Just whose side are you on, Mock? Hey, haven't you learned the Liyue saying, don't always call it as...
Well then, with the Gnosis in my possession, I have no use for such idle chatter. We should...
Fine. I'll meet you there later. I'm not sharing a boat with the likes of you.
Do as you wish.
Now then, is there anything else you wish to ask me?
Right! As Zhongli always told us, a good trade is a fair trade.
Realistically speaking.
Huh?
However, I am the god of contracts. For thousands of years, I have made countless contracts. My agreement with the Cryo Archon will be the last of my contracts as the Geo Archon. My contract to end all contracts. As for the bargaining chip that the Tsaritsa used to balance the scales, uncover that answer for yourself in your future journeys.
Today's the day of the rite of parting. Although the star of the show is fake, we spent so much time trying to organize it, it would be a real shame not to go there now.
You know that god...
Yes, and to think that this happened right on the heels of the
Say, do you think the person who assassinated...
Now that you mention it, that's very possible. I mean it all. Still, what sort of supernatural prowess must...
Ah, forget it. Guessing's no use to us. Look, the Millilith over there looks like he's a...
Oh, well, since we're going through with this rite of parting, I guess it means that those rumors hit the nail on the head.
So Rex Lapis is really... But they didn't catch the culprit, did they?
Oh, come on. Do you think that the assassin could have been a normal person? You know what I think. I don't think any of the gossip on the streets you hear from those shady types is worth anything. There's only one real possibility in my mind. I've heard that the assassin was that Fatui fellow. Youngish, pretty high in rank. I think they called him Child.
The Fatui? They certainly are very suspicious. Who knows what those greedy, crooked folks...
Shh! Lower your voice. If the Fatui catch you in their sights, Rex Lapis won't be around to protect you this time.
Hear ye all, the Chising's words. Though a dragon soars ageless as the mountains, it too must return to dust. This is common knowledge. Gods and Adepti live glorious lives, but both light and shadow have their season. So too must they face divinely appointed trials. Rumors and hearsay abound on the streets that Rex Lapis was murdered. Now, let the truth be revealed. Having been thwarted in his trial, Rex Lapis's soul has recouped the celestial heights. He beseeches the people of Liyue to grieve not and to let not their hearts be saddened. Nor are they to believe street-born rumors or indulge in baseless speculation.
Paimon needs a So that's how they're spinning it. Something feels off. Why would they suddenly give up looking for the murderer? Not to mention how this excuse sounds like something they just made up on the spot. Could the Chising already have known that Rex Lapis wasn't dead? But Zhongli said that neither they nor the Adepti knew anything. Did Zhongli tell them in secret after his gnosis changed hands? Exactly, right? Ooh, seems like the rite of parting has been going on for a while now. Let's go have a look. Look, it's Ningguang and Keqing. Are they saying something? Are their speeches over?
As said previously, Rex Lapis's soul returning to the heavens is the end of the contract. And it is also the end of an era.
3,700 years of contracts burnt and reduced to ash.
We, the people of Liyue, were indeed prosperous. But blinded by our prosperity, we forgot that time can be pitiless.
The long, unending dream of our Archon walking among us.
Now that we have awoken from our dream, we must learn to say farewell. Will you stand with us as we re-establish our contracts? As we build a new age of prosperity?
So concludes the words of Her Eminence the Tianquan. Does Her Eminence the Yuheng have anything to add?
Huh? Is she looking this way?
Traveler.
Yikes! She really is looking our way!
Is that the traveler who they say defeated the ancient god?
So young.
The Liyue Chising always repay their debts. And as you have heard, our eyes see far and our reach is long. Name your price. You deserve that much.
Whoa!
Well, could you help me put up some missing person posters?
But it seems as if those perfumes well, that's fine. Suffer.
Rex. Now that perhaps mementos for Rex Lapis might be the best short-term business opportunity.
As for the mortal...
Hey, Zhongli! Look at this. Everyone in Liyue is caught up in their emotions, thinking that they'll never see Rex Lapis again. And here you are looking all relaxed.
Why would I not feel more at ease after laying down the burden I have borne for 3,700 years? Right. If the two of you can spare the time, I should treat you to a meal at the Shinya kiosk.
Ha! That sounds like big talk, Zhongli. Paimon might have believed you if you were treating us to some third-round knockout, but you'd have to pay out your nose just to stand inside Shinya kiosk. Are you sure you can afford it?
You're right. I do lack the Mora. As the Rex Lapis Morax, I can easily... When I was journeying with you, though I still had the gnosis...
Oh, no wonder! Paimon gets it now. You didn't look at the price tags when we were spending because you've But since you weren't used to not be...
Well, we were only spending Fatui money. You don't have to say it like that. In the City of Commerce, we do not merely exchange money or goods. We also exchange knowledge. The Archon Morax could never experience life as the true mortal Zhongli could, no matter how many times he descended to be with his people. I must thank you for that. I will treasure the memories that I made as Zhongli, traveling the streets of Liyue with you. That is true. But there is no journey that does not end. No meetings without partings.
Paimon thinks that we should make a move and continue our search for the Seven.
I fear that continuing your journey may be difficult. The nation... Yes, the nation has been closed by order of its deity, the Electro-Archon Ball. And just as the people of Liyue preferred to call me Rex Lapis, she too goes by another name among locals in Inazuma.
Paimon thinks we've heard that one before. Raiden?
That is the case. And since Raiden is also the shogun of Inazuma, people call...
That said, though people at the wharf were saying that the situation in Inazuma is very tense, Paimon doesn't remember that always being the case. It wasn't that bad last year. Zhongli, since you're Rex Lapis, shouldn't you know something about what's happening there? Just how did Inazuma become a closed nation?
It's because of visions.
Visions?
When faced with circumstances beyond their control, humans often bemoan their lack of power. But if a person shows true strength of will at a desperate and fateful moment in their life, the gods will look upon them with favor. This is what visions are. Magical foci bestowed upon those who have been acknowledged by the gods.
Uh-huh. That's how people in Teyvat see it.
But starting from last year, the Raiden Shogun began promulgating the Vision Hunt Decree.
Vision Hunt Decree?
Yes. It was an order to seize all visions within Inazuma's borders, and to inlay them upon the hands of the statue of the omnipresent god.
They want to seize visions. But why? Aren't visions blessings from the gods?
I should think that in the Raiden Shogun's eyes, it is precisely because they are divine blessings that they should be under the sole dominion of divinity.
Whoa, that's harsh.
The Animo Archon is the god of freedom, and the Geo Archon is the god of contracts. For her part, the Raiden Shogun is the god of eternity. The fact that even I, The oldest of the seven have now passed away, will only strengthen her resolve to pursue eternity. Knowing her, she must have again quoted that adage she is most fond of when proclaiming that decree to her people. 7 ideals for 7 gods, and of these, eternity is nearest unto the heavenly principles. All right then. Was there anything else you wish to know? Well then, I suppose you'll have to find a way to get inside this closed nation. Have patience. I suspect that some serendipity must first come into play.
I have gathered everyone here today to make an important announcement. Perhaps some of you will have heard the news already. I am, in fact, planning to rebuild the Jade Chamber.
Rebuild the Jade Chamber? That's a huge project!
So the rumors are true. No wonder the price of building materials has gone up so much lately.
The Jade Chamber means a lot to Lady Ningguang. Getting involved in this would be a huge opportunity. Lady Ningguang, is there any way we can be of service?
Patience. Since the news made it out a few days ago, I have already had many people contacting me to declare an interest in joining the project. Nevertheless, I do have a few matters I should like to entrust to you here today. The building site has been chosen, and most of the materials have been assembled. 3 key items are, however, still outstanding. They are as follows: Sunset Vermilionite, Wonder Cores, and Adepti Sigils.
Excuse my ignorance, Lady Ningguang. I'm familiar enough with Plostrite, but I've never even heard of those other 2.
Only sufficiently large pieces of Plostrite, or specifically, Vermilionite, may earn themselves the Sunset moniker. This stone is what allows the Jade Chamber to float. Wonder Cores, meanwhile, are the central components of the mechanical structure of the Jade Chamber. Adepti Sigils serve as a means of integrating the mechanical devices with Adepti art. They are as indispensable as the mechanical core itself. Although these 3 items are rare, I trust that with your connections and capabilities, procuring them will not be a question of if, but of when. I take the saying, time is money, more seriously than most. Efficiency is everything. I will pay a generous price for the materials that you find, and in addition, the first 3 people who collect all the materials will have the opportunity to ask me a question. You may ask me anything, and I will give you an honest answer. I trust that this means of compensation will be to everyone's satisfaction.
These things won't be easy to get hold of. But if it means a chance to get some inside information on Liyue Harbor's development plan for next year...
Then it's the deal of a lifetime. Information from Lady Ningguang is priceless. Whoever gets to it first takes the market.
Haha, what a coincidence! I won't divulge too much, but I heard some murmurings about some Plostrite just the other day. So excuse me all, but, I have some business to do.
No. We better move quickly, or this opportunity will be snatched away from us.
Ningguang's rebuilding the Jade Chamber? This is a huge deal! Let's get involved!
So you heard my announcement, did you? What do you think? Interested? Yes. Providing the question pertains to something I am knowledgeable about.
Really? Ooh, then Paimon will ask you about how to run a business! Then we'll never be short of Mora ever again!
Of course. But how much information I share with you will depend on your performance. The construction of the Jade Chamber requires a great deal of space. The abandoned mine outside the Golden House has been selected as the building site. Once you have collected the materials, please take them there. I have other business to attend to now. Otherwise, I would gladly escort you to the site in person. When you do arrive, please seek out my secretary. Remember, this is a race against the clock. A rare opportunity presents itself to you. Do not let somebody else snatch it from your grasp.
Ningguang seems super busy. First, we gotta get out of Eugene Terrace. Huh? Look!
Ma'am, you seem like an eminent and distinguished young lady to me. I can see that, as it happens, we have some information about the materials that I really think might interest you. Come on, let's find somewhere a little more private, and we can get down to brass tacks.
No.
Don't be like that. Why don't you stand there?
Oh, right, yeah.
Did you hear that? They said they had some useful information! Information's just what we need right now. Let's follow them and see what we can find out. Huh. They're not here. Let's keep looking.
Well, will you? Don't worry, we're not bad guys. You give us some Mora, we get...
Boss, I got a bad feeling about this. Look at her, the white hair, the energy she gives off. I'm telling you, there's something...
So what? She's loaded. How are we ever going to repay those gambling debts if...
I've already told you. I don't need your information. If you still can't grasp that, I'm happy to repeat it in a way that...
Come on, ma'am. You seem... It's not about whether you need the info or not, okay? It's about you taking...
I won't...
No more excuses! Yeah, I saw you. Strolling into Lioli, then Shinyu at kiosk, then Wanmin restaurant. How could you afford to be so wasteful if you weren't from a rich family?
Master warned me not to lay a hand on anyone in Liyue Harbor. But here we are.
Boss, I'm telling you, something's not right.
What are you afraid of? We're just selling information. It's not illegal. If she lays a finger on us, all the better. We'll
Oh, you again.
The Millilith. What are the Millilith doing?
Silence! How dare you threaten innocent civilians? You're coming with us.
No, don't be angry, sir.
Shenhe.
Shenhe?
My name.
Oh, so your name's Shenhe. Paimon's name is... well, Paimon. And this is Paimon's travel buddy.
Oh, I've heard about you two before. Thank you for helping to defuse the situation. I could have dealt with it myself, though. I suspect smashing his head against the ground...
You can't do that. That's way too violent. This is Liyue Harbor. There are laws against that...
Laws? No, apparently not.
Really? So how exactly
That would be my stomach growling. I haven't eaten enough.
She's so honest. Wait, that's right! They said you went around all the restaurants ordering this and that and the other, but only took... Then of course you're still hungry! So, anything in particular you're hungry for?
Chingson, glaze lily, violet. Medicinal herbs?
Kinda hard to explain. Anyway, Boo Boo Pharmacy's not far away. After all, you... Psst. Do you think Shenhe might be an Adeptus? It seems like it's her first...
Are you here to buy some herbs?
Chingson, glaze lily, and violet.
What kind of prescription is this? Sounds more like a lunch order. Oh, here you go.
Thank you.
She's really...
My hunger has now abated. Rather, though they were not completely devoid of sweet fragrance. After consuming a large quantity of them, bitterness is all.
So, how come you chow down on these and barely touch the rest? If Paimon had enough Mora, Paimon would go to the fanciest restaurant in town and order a whole table of food and eat.
Because I'm not sure whether I will remain here in the future. The food of the mortal realm is most delicious, but should I return to the mountains, yearning, sampling each dish in order to appreciate its taste is enough.
Return to the mountains! That proves it! Paimon knew she was an Adeptus!
Enough about me. What are your plans from here?
Oh, right! Paimon almost forgot! We came out to take part in the and now we're probably super behind because we've been held up for so long.
I see. I heard something about the contest when I was passing by.
Yep! You get to ask Ningguang any question you want if you win! Were you interested?
I came for the rebuilding of the Jade. However, you have shown me your kindness, and I would now like to lend you my assistance.
Wow! You really don't have to. But having an Adeptus help out will make things a whole lot easier.
Then let's not delay. I have a plan.
Great! Paimon bets this is gonna be the awesomest plan ever!
I am not sure whether or to what extent this plan can be classified as awesome. We simply need to dispose of everyone who is currently ahead of us. Then, we alone shall become the victors.
Veto!
Really?
Look, we want to win this competition fair and square. Sunset Vermilionite, Wonder Course, and Adepti...
I was wondering who I could hear arguing over there.
Baishu, what are you doing out here?
Lady Ningguang wishes to purchase a large batch of wound dressing. We're running low at the store, so I came out to fetch the ingredients personally.
Huh? How come Lady Ningguang needs so much wound dressing all of a sudden?
I'm not too sure. I did hear she's looking to rebuild the Jade Chamber. Maybe for its first aid on site? I didn't ask, though. Far be it from me to pry into my customers' personal affairs. Oh, and she also borrowed Chi-Chi. Meaning Boo Boo Pharmacy is very short-handed right now.
No, we've got other stuff to do. While you're here, though, you seem to know a lot. Have you ever heard of something called
Ah, the variety of plostrite used in the Jade Chamber, yes? There is some mention of it in the Seven Mountain Treatises. When activated, Sunset Vermilionite rises up all the way into the clouds. As far as the records show, virtually all Sunset Vermilionite in existence has been mined and taken possession of. But the Feiyun...
Okay then, let's go ask at the Feiyun Commerce Guild. Thanks, Baishu.
You're quite welcome. Good luck to you all.
More interesting to do. Yep.
Ah, children, come.
Oh, what is it, Granny? Need any help?
Oh, no. You've done so much for Liyue Harbor. In fact, my old friends and I have been putting our heads together to think of what sort of gift.
A gift? For Paimon?
Oh, child, you are so very modest. Uncommonly so, even. But you mustn't decline this. When you traversed my old teapot in search of the cleansing bell, I heard your little friend mention that you often camp out in the wilds. That simply won't do, especially since I imagine you still have a very long journey ahead of you. Fortunately, I have not yet grown so old as to see my subspace creation abilities atrophy. Oh, did my friends never mention that to you? Well then, it is a blessing we old folks once received from Rex Lapis, part of our illumination, if you will. I will not go into too much detail, but subspace creation is the ability to create a small, autonomous pocket world. The teapot that you entered previously was a little trinket created using that ability.
So, in the eyes of an Adeptus, creating a magic teapot world is just child's play, huh?
Oh, indeed, the teapot is nothing to boast of. One such as myself must depart from this realm to create a world of one's own. Rex Lapis, on the other hand, moved mountains and seas. That is what one might call an exercise of true power. But that's enough nostalgia for now. The gift that I have prepared for you just requires a few final materials.
That's right! Finding stuff's what we're good at, after all.
Oh, settle down now, children. There's no need for you to go running hither and thither. I have already found a fleet-footed youngster to prepare what I need. What's more, I doubt that you would know how to find the materials I am searching for. Some of them are very... Well, for starters, I require some shimmer soil from the banks of Dihua Marsh. Back in the day, it could only be found where the glaze lilies thrived most profusely. You would have to dig downward, following the roots of the glaze lilies, and, if you were lucky enough, you just might find a small patch of shimmer soil there. But almost no one has been able to find shimmer soil in this manner since Dihua Marsh came to be the way it is today. Even more difficult to find is Smaragdus jadeite, which must be chiseled from the rock of the chasm. Or so it used to be. Ever since the Blackcliff Forge opened for business, they've slowly but surely stripped the mines all but completely bare of it. In any case, Smaragdus jadeite is an Adepti treasure, and the Adeptal power within is not something that most humans can withstand. Extended contact with it is, in fact, harmful to humans. Goodness knows if that child will succeed in finding these items.
Well, since you're an Adeptus, Granny, The person you asked for help, they must be an Adeptus too, right?
Yes. I suppose she does count as an Adeptus.
She counts? How come there are so many Adepti in Liyue Harbor? We seem to bump into them all the time. It feels like even when you go out to eat, you could be sitting next to an Adeptus and never even know it.
Oh, maybe so. Who can say? A fair few of my old friends are rather fond of mundane mortal life, after all.
I'm back, Granny. Oh, I don't believe we've met.
Ah, allow me to do the honors. This child here is Yen Fei. She's the one helping run some errands for me. Yen Fei, I believe you've already heard of the Traveler and her traveling companion.
Of course, who hasn't? Much has been written about you in the Millilith's records. You became one of Liyue's most wanted after the Millilith marked you as a suspect following the incident at the Rite of Dissension. After which, you fought off the Millilith at Julian Karst and made contact with the Fatui. Before finally defeating an ancient god together with Granny and her associates, and subsequently being cleared of any and all suspicion by the Qixing. What a shame. A shame that we didn't meet sooner. If we had, well, I can't say that I would have been able to clear you of suspicion immediately, but it certainly would have been less, embarrassing for you. Allow me to introduce myself once more. I'm Yenfei, a legal advisor. Got a legal problem? You can come right to me. Oh, yes, here's my business card. You'll find it has my contact details and office address. Keep it handy. If you have an urgent issue, just leave me a note at this address. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, I offer a very generous discount for first-time customers.
All right, Yenfei, all right. Let's get to the business at hand. I do not think these two are in any dire need of legal assistance at the moment. You'll have to excuse Yenfei. She's always been like this, ever the talkative one when it comes to her own affairs.
Paimon was gonna ask the same question. You seem really different from the ones we've met before.
An Adeptus? I guess. Kinda. My old man said he was one anyway. He mentioned that he once campaigned with Rex Lapis for a long old time, and then after that was all over, he went back and married my mom. They had me, and once I was all grown up, the two of them up.
Well, that's a bit casual for an Adeptus. Aren't you guys supposed to sign solemn contracts to protect Liyue Harbor and all that stuff? What do you mean he just went back to get married?
Well, my dad did say that he'd talked it through with Rex Lapis. Anyway, let's not dwell on that too much. So, Granny...
Is that so? But Smaragdus jadeite is really rather essential. Yenfei, are you sure you can't find some other way?
I know, Granny, you've told me 1,000 times already. Well, the chasm's definitely
Oh, whoa! That's a really thick...
commercial consultancy. Or Snezhnaya Krustle. A Snezhnayan merchant who once came to me with some legal queries on certain articles in the legal codices. If my memory serves, he mentioned that he was considering acquiring some so I guess I'll go look for him. Oh, you want to join me? I suppose that's no problem, but it's best if you just stand by and watch. If you try to get involved...
Wow, an Adeptus imploring us to avoid incurring legal liability. Well, that's a first for sure. Best we be a little more careful than usual while we're with her.
Mr. Crossell. How's business been?
Oh, good, very good. All thanks to your...
You're too kind. I was simply doing my job. Now, I believe that the last time we met, you mentioned that you were looking to source some Smaragdus Jadeite to make hairpins. Have there been any further developments on this front?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, in the end, I did acquire a small piece of Smaragdus Jadeite and had it fashioned into a pair of hairpins. Miss Yanfei, might I presume that you have an interest in the hairpins? I must apologize. I've already rented them out.
Wait, isn't Smaragdus Jadeite really rare? Aren't you worried about the hairpins getting damaged or lost while they're being rent?
No, I'm not worried in the slightest, because I signed a contract with Miss Zhiqiao before renting them to her. The contract makes it quite clear that if she loses or damages the item in question, she must compensate me for its full original value. In return, I included a clause that guarantees the Smaragdus Jadeite is genuine, with a penalty of 10 times the item's value payable by me to Miss Zhiqiao.
Guaranteed genuine, with 10 times the value payable if this claim is shown to be false. Yes, these terms are very clear indeed.
Of course. This way, both the client and I have the assurance we need.
In that case, might you know where Miss Zhiqiao lives? We'd like to pay her a visit and have a...
Oh, of course. She wrote her address down when we signed our contract.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Crossell. We'll be off now.
I should open a store here. Why'd they have to give me that train ticket?
Splendid! More interesting trinkets for me.
Oh, whatever shall I do? Yes, that's me.
How do you do, Monsieur? My associates and I are very interested.
The hairpins. I don't know how it could have happened. I spent so much money on them. We now have a backlog of paid up. A big banquet. That's what the hairpins were for. But now that I've lost the hair...
Why does
Would you really? I sent a commission to the Adventurers Guild, but...
Hold on. Don't run off looking for the hairpins just yet. Miss Zhiqiao, which...
Huh? Well, I mean, sure,
Let me see.
That's right! Yanfei said true. Those...
Right. I finished reading the contract. Furthermore, the contract also expressly states, and given the rarity of Smaragdus Jade...
Even higher? Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
However...
Did you really have to pop? Whichever way you...
Except that if we found...
Please. However much it is, now that it's come...
Yes, legally speaking, it seems... So hold on a moment, Miss Zhiqiao. When...
What did I feel? Well, my family has seen much jade pass through its...
Smooth to... No, it's nothing.
Ah, Miss Yan... You lost them? Are you serious? Do you have any...
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Truly I am. I'll pay the
Mora! Do you have any idea what I had to go through to get my hands on that Smaragdus jadeite? I just don't... Forget it. Talking won't bring them back. Since Miss Yanfei is here, I suppose we can just have her estimate the amount that...
No problem. But before I can give an official estimate, I'll need to do a little market research. Ah, yes, and if I may just confirm, it was in fact genuine Smaragdus jadeite inlaid into the hairpins, correct?
Of course. Genuine article guaranteed, or I pay back 10 times the value.
All right, understood. I'll conduct some market research, and once I'm back, I'll provide an official assessment of the sum owed by Mr. Chow in compensation. Please wait here.
Thank you very much. How could she lose my hairpins? She'd better pay
Looks like I'll have to find some way to raise that money.
Please wait, Mr. Chow. I have something to discuss with you. It's not convenient to speak here, so let's find somewhere that we can sit and talk in more detail.
Miss Yanfei, what is this about?
No. What I wanted to talk about is, there is a chance that the ore inlaid on those hair...
What do you mean? Are you implying that you already sneaked off and found them?
Obviously not. I'm no adventurer, let alone a member of the guild. I don't run thankless time. I don't know if Granny told you this, but Smaragdus jadeite is found deep underground and contains very... If mere mortals come into contact with it, well, they'll be sick in the best case. And in the worst case, they could even experience... Mr. Chow, did you at any time feel unwell while the hairpins were in your possession?
No, not at all. I felt perfectly fine the whole time.
Now that is strange. I noticed earlier that, if I've deduced correctly, he may still have the Smaragdus jadeite in his possession.
If that's the case, we should go confront him right now and expose his dirty...
Absolutely not. If we were to confront him now, there's no way he would admit to... And then, he'd throw the Smaragdus jadeite into the sea the moment we were gone. After that, he would simply insist that Mr. Chow pay up per the contract. He would lose nothing. Meanwhile, we would have to look under every stone in Liyue, hoping and praying that...
So vivid that Paimon thinks it might be experience.
Oh, it certainly is. I've seen my fair share of situations like this, and brute force methods are certainly one way of resolving them.
Well then, since you're so experienced in dealing with problems like this, perhaps you could help me, Miss Yanfei.
Oh, that won't be a problem. But first, Mr. Chow, can I ask you to please sign this contract?
Huh? Does there have to be a contract for everything? Paimon can't even keep track. It feels like Yanfei is even more concerned with them than a certain someone else we know.
These are my formal terms of engagement. Everything prior to now has just been pro bono advice. But for me to investigate any further, I require a written contract. Any work commissioned but not bound by a contract cannot be relied upon.
I understand. Then I will be glad to place this matter into your capable hands if you will take it, Miss Yanfei.
No problem. Just sign here, and I'll sign too. Okay. Now write your address here, and then sign on this page as well. And I'll also need your signatures on pages 5, 7, and on the very last page. Finally, if you could just use this ink pad to make a handprint over here.
This contract has so many pages.
All right, that should do it. My fees are the same as always, and they're written...
I've had a read through. Everything...
Well then, here's your copy of the contract. I will retain the other copy. Not for now, no. Despite how intractable this... I don't believe you have been part of an investigation like this before, in which case, hopefully this should be quite the experience.
Miss Yanfei, I have to ask, why are you helping me?
Because, as it happens, I'm currently trying to acquire some Smaragdus Jadeite myself. I noticed strong whether he actually made it into an item of jewelry or not is a separate matter. But either way, it's a lead. As long as we follow it, who knows? Also, the idea of someone abusing the law to their advantage, I won't. But again, let's not dwell on this. Let's go I've got it! Let's pay a visit to Chateau, the boss of the Jade. If Mr. Crossell had his ore worked on at all, Chateau would undoubtedly have been his first choice.
Why, hello there, honored. Surely not more spurious claim.
No, nothing of the sort. Has a Snezhnyan merchant named Crossell enlisted your ore processing services recently by any chance?
A Snezhnyan merchant named I do remember that. He brought me a piece of ore, claiming that it was Smaragdus Jade. That was the first time I'd ever encountered it, so I had no way of telling if it was really Smaragdus Jadeite or not. He was quite generous with his money, too, so I didn't give it too much thought. I processed the ore as per his request.
Do you have any leftover debris from your work on it?
Why, yes. It was my first time encountering this ore, after all, so I kept a few loose shavings to study myself later.
Thank you, sir. We'll take a look at them.
Yes. It's not particularly rare, nor is it especially valuable. I've heard it said that Smaragdus Nephrite is in fact the outer layer of Smaragdus Jadeite.
A thin layer of separation, huh?
If you must see for yourself, try examining these shavings for traces of elemental energy.
Is that so? Well, we might as well give elemental sight a shot. So, did you find anything? So they really are different.
There's nothing special to it. These two stones actually look very similar. Someone without a deep understanding of them would find there may be only a subtle difference for the casual viewer, but that translates to an astronomical difference in terms of the market price. And, I'm sure, a significant difference in the cost of having them carved into shape.
All right, let's focus up. We're going off on a tangent.
But, never mind, Shirto.
Unusual actions have unusual reasons behind them. Let's take some of these
Miss Yenfei.
If you could just confirm for me once more, sir. Mr. Crossell did indeed claim that the ore he brought to your store...
Yes, that's right. I still have a record of the job with me, in fact.
Then I have no further questions. But could I borrow the processing record and these stone shavings?
Of course.
Oh, I have my reasons. Yes. Please sign here. This document shall serve as signed proof that these stone shavings originated from the, ore that Mr. Crossell brought to your store. Please...
Yes, I see. Forgive me for asking again, Miss Yenfei, but might I know the nature of the incident?
I wouldn't say there's been an incident, just a minor issue. Thank you, sir. I'll take the...
With this hard evidence to back us up, Crossell won't dare try to deny what he did!
On the contrary, this is far from sufficient to build a case. We need to find some... If you want to make jewelry, you need a professional jewelsmith. Let me think. Jewelry... Aha! Got it! Singxi. She often helps...
Well, that was quick. How come you know so many...
Because lots of people come to me for legal advice. As you know, Liyue Harbor is the city of contracts. But the amendments made by the Tian... As such, legal advisors like myself provide quite the popular service.
So you help them make sense of the law. But didn't you say that it's hard to...
Yes, well, that's no obstacle, because I've memorized...
You memorized?
You sound surprised. Knowing... Oh, this has nothing to do with being an adeptus. I just like reading things.
Again, with that casual tone.
Well, that's that then. Let's go look for Singxi.
Miss Yenfei.
Have no further trouble from the... Has a merchant by the name of Crossel asked you to...
Crossel. Yes, I remember him. The design of the hairpins that he gave me was quite intricate, so it took me some work to find someone who was up. This order was on hold for a very long time, and only completed quite recently, which is why I remember it so well.
Doesn't seem like there's any evidence to be found here.
Miss Inksy, I'd like for you to confirm for me once more. When Mr. Crossel commissioned you to find him a jewelsmith, did he or did he not assert that the material he presented to you that day was called...
Yes, I'm sure of it. The hairpins were made using... Mr. Crossel wasn't very familiar with the necessary procedure. I also kept a copy for my own records. See for yourself, the inlaid gemstone is recorded as...
Thank you, Sinksy. Now, could...
Sure, it isn't serving much purpose here anyway.
Nothing you need to worry about. Just a minor issue.
Why is everyone's first reaction...
I believe we have almost all...
The weirdo with the snake around his neck? What do you...
Because only he can provide an authoritative statement confirming that Smaragdus Jade... Once we have this final piece of evidence in our hands...
Join the Adventurers Guild. You'll have a blast.
My, to what do I owe the pleasure? And if it isn't Miss Yenfei as well, now that's an even rarer honor. What bit...
No. I'm here this time to ask if you're familiar with Smaragdus Jadeite.
Smaragdus Jadeite? Why, yes, there is some information about it included in the 6th commentary on the 7 Mountain Treatises. The 7 Mountain Treatises states that this substance springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains, and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it. It is abundant in elemental energy, so if someone without a vision is in contact with it for a prolonged period, best case scenario, they fall ill. Worst case scenario, they'll suffer great changes in personality, and their illness will only ever get worse. Anyway, I'm sure you didn't come all this way just to chit-chat. Knowing you, Yenfei, and given the specific nature of your question, I suppose that you're about to ask me to write an official affidavit attesting to the pharmaceutical peculiarities of Smaragdus Jadeite?
That is indeed the case. If you would be so kind, Dr. Baiju.
No trouble at all. It's just a single document. Won't take me a moment. I would mention, though, that you are not the only one who's developed a curiosity for Smaragdus Jadeite recently. A Snezhnayan merchant came to ask me about it not long ago. But after I gave him my reply, his expression shifted to one of remarkable disappointment. I wonder, Miss Yenfei, if your pressing business might be related to this Snezhnayan merchant?
You needn't concern yourself about that, Dr. Baiju. Thank you for penning us that document. I'll make sure to compensate you in due course.
You're too kind. Take care now.
That Baiju guy is as weird as ever. Is it just Paimon, or does it feel like he was fishing for something back there?
Show me your prescription.
Dr. Baiju's always been like that. Well, we have the evidence we need. Let's go find Mr. Crossel.
So many medicines, but no cure for heartache.
Miss Yanfei, have you finished?
Yes, my investigation is indeed concluded. I can now provide a final.
Wonderful. Well then, please, could you do the honors, Miss Yan?
Of course. According to the stipulations of the contract, Mr. Crossell, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original transaction price in Mora.
Sure. Wait, what? Me pay her? Surely there's been some kind of mistake, Miss Yanfei.
Not at all. According to my investigations and the material evidence that we've gathered, the substance claimed to be Smaragdus jadeite that was inlaid within the Smaragdus jadeite twin phoenix pins that you rented out to Mr. Chow was, in fact, Smaragdus nephrite. Now, the contract states very clearly that 10 times the price shall be paid should the article not be genuine. Accordingly, you are liable for this sum, which is payable to Mr. Chow in Mora.
Material evidence? What material evidence? Why, Miss Yanfei, you cannot frame me like this. I spent a huge sum to obtain that Smaragdus jadeite, and yet you claim that the ore inlaid on the hairpins is somehow fake? I demand to see your evidence.
Indeed. Only a testimony from an expert witness involved. If we want to determine whether the ore is genuine, we need to start with. If we want to determine whether the. If we want to determine. This is a processing record from the Jade Mystery, along with stone samples and an affidavit signed by the business owner, Chateau.
Seriously? Even the boss there couldn't differentiate between Smaragdus jadeite and Smaragdus nephrite. How does this prove anything? In any case, Smaragdus nephrite is the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite. So I had him cut away the nephrite. He returned the valuable jadeite core to me.
That's an unsubstantiated belief.
Well, your claim that my ore is fake is just as unsubstantiated. And we are here to talk about evidence, aren't we?
Ugh. Looks like our first piece of evidence didn't convince him at all. Seems like he came prepared. What should we do next?
Hard evidence? Something legally binding? Oh, come on. I meant the backup copy of the document from the ministry.
This document proves that my hairpins are the real deal, doesn't it? This is the ministry's seat.
Our second piece of evidence didn't work either. And this guy's getting more belligerent by the second.
You know, you could be right. Perhaps the hairpins are the real deal after all.
Of course I'm right. All the evidence shown supports my story.
Well, hang on a moment now, because I do recall one final piece of evidence that we haven't revealed yet. Traveler, would you do the honors?
What's this?
Smaragdus jadeite springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it. Sustained contact with Smaragdus jadeite over a prolonged period will, in less serious cases, cause a mild malady, while in serious cases, the patient may suffer a dramatic change of personality and fall seriously ill. Mr. Crossell, were you aware of these peculiar properties of Smaragdus jadeite?
I had
no idea, you say? I'd guessed as much. But for you to have rented out such a dangerous item... I'm afraid that this falls outside the scope of my work, but within... However, I'm sure that the ministry will be relatively lenient considering that, as you say... Don't worry, Mr. Crossell. I will make sure that all the evidence... I trust that you'll give them your full cooperation in their...
What? Wait! I knew.
Oh, so you knew? Oh, dear, Mr. Crossell. But if...
Huh? No,
aren't actually inlaid with genuine Smaragdus jadeite? Is that what you were about to say? You do understand, Mr. Crossell, that this means that you will have to pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original price in Mora? Mr. Crossell, your answer, please. My client and I are waiting.
Yanfei's seriously intimidating right now. It's like she's a different person.
I admit it. I confess. The ore I had inlaid on those hairpins was Smaragdus nephrite. But I'm a victim in all of this too. I invested a great deal of time and money into acquiring that small amount of Smaragdus jadeite, in the hopes of turning it into a piece of jewelry that would fetch a fine price. But after receiving it and carrying it around for a few days, I started to feel extreme discomfort. I couldn't sleep a wink or eat a single bite. I was in a constant state of agitation, too. I went to Boo Boo Pharmacy to get myself checked out, only to discover that this sort of stone cannot be worn as jewelry. But how could I let all that money go to waste? That's why I had another pair of hairpins made from Smaragdus Nephrite, which is all. I kept the real Smaragdus Jadeite in a specially made box. I daren't touch it again. I was worried that someone would see through it, which is why I only dared to rent them out, not sell them. And then to top it all off, Zhiqiao lost the hairpins.
Exactly! If they weren't the real deal, why'd you make her pay so much?
I didn't want to either, but when I purchased that Smaragdus Jadeite, some of my... If word got out that I sold a pair of fake hairpins, then my days in this line of business would be over.
All right, let's cut the appeals phase right there. I failed to see what bearing any of this has on your transaction with my client. According to the contract, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original price and...
10 times?
Crosel looks like he could faint any second.
As for me, according to my contract with Mr. Chow, 20% of that sum will go to me.
20%? That's as much as I spent on that Smaragdus...
There's no need. It's fine. You don't have to pay me that much, Mora. Even if the Smaragdus Jadeite on those hairpins was fake, I still bear responsibility for losing them. Legally or not, I think I owe some
Ms. Zhiqiao, you...
However, Mr. Crossel, since you have no use for that chunk of Smaragdus Jadeite, why don't you give it to me instead?
What? But all right then. This cursed rock's brought me enough grief as it is.
Miss Yunfei, I'll turn this Smaragdus Jadeite over to you. I trust that it will suffice as remuneration?
Well, that's not quite how the rules say this should go.
Thanks so much for your help this time, Miss Yunfei. When you have the time, I'll be sure to visit and express my thanks more appropriately.
Oh, come on. No need to stand on ceremony. Now, if I may confirm this again, Mr. Chow, have you and Mr. Crossel come to an understanding?
Well, yes, I believe we have.
Well then, that's good. Mr. Crossel, it seems that my client has no further...
Is that so? That's good. That's good.
Actually, Mr. Crossel, I'd like to talk, but I could see from the hairpins you produce that you're very skilled in jewelry design. My family, on the other hand, works in the ore business, and we have a fair stock of fine ores. If we could join forces, your jewelry designs and our choice ores...
Let me think for a moment.
Well, that's that. And we've got the Smaragdus Jadeite that Granny wants too.
Exactly. Usually when someone tells us they've lost something, we end up searching all over the place for it. Even though the solution didn't involve actually finding the hairpins.
The right solution depends on your perspective on the problem. The objective of my client, Mr. Chow, was to reduce her liability in Adeptus. Speaking of, you took part in that battle, didn't you? In which case, you would have heard what Granny said. Liyue Harbor is now a city ruled by humans. The title of Adeptus means precious little to me compared to my job as a legal advisor. In any case, don't you think that the Liyue Harbor of today...
Paimon can think of someone who would definitely...
Well, since we got what we came for, it's time to pay Granny a visit. I bet she's...
you've returned. How did it go? Were you able to find the Smaragdus Jadeite? Good, good. Then we have all the materials we need.
Well, if we're all set, Granny, I'll get going now. Got a ton of clients waiting for me back at the office.
Oh, you. All right, then. Go see to your business. Granny should be able to handle the rest.
I'm off then. Bye! Oh yes, Traveler. Make sure you don't lose the business card I gave you. I've been looking into the laws of other nations as well. If you should ever bump into any trouble with the law, come find me directly. Regulars get discounts too.
Come now, child. Are you leaving or are you not? If you have no wish to leave, perhaps you'd like to help me clean my teapot, hmm?
I'm leaving! I'm leaving!
That child. Goodness knows where she learned to be so rambunctious. Her father was hardly so riotous or fond of talk. Indeed she is. Liyue has changed, and the Adepti must also learn to change. Yanfei might be overly garrulous, but she is also the most intimately acquainted with the city among us all. Liyue is not the same place I once knew. All right, then. Let us speak of this no more. Back on topic. I believe that I still owe you a little gift.
Oh, Paimon's so excited! How is it made?
It is but a single teapot. It shan't take long at all. Just wait here for a moment. There we go. This Serenity Pot is all yours now. Hold it firmly. If you were to drop it, oh goodness, who knows what might happen. Take these blueprints with you as well. You'll need them if you wish to make your teapot a little more lively inside.
Wait a minute, Granny! How exactly are we supposed to use this teapot?
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I've already arranged for a certain little helper to await you within this teapot. She will explain everything you need to know about it.
This is a peaceful neighborhood.
Please be my...
Wow! This teapot seems even bigger inside than Madame Ping's! There's even a great big house in the middle, too! Huh. But there's just a whole load of nothing around it. Paimon can't do that! Well, you're the one with the sword anyway! You do it! Still, why is it so empty here apart from that house? Oh, wait a second. What is that?
Wow,
seems that we have a... It's a huge finch! Excuse me, I am not a finch. I am a teapot spirit, and you may call me... hang on a moment. What am I supposed to be called again? Oh, call me, I suppose...
So you're the little helper Madam Ping mentioned?
Madam Ping? Oh, you must mean Ping. Yes, she did summon me here. She told me much about... You may leave all matters regarding the upkeep of this realm. Your journey may be far from over. But though it is the Adepti who create realms such as this, they generally do. Thus, we teapot spirits were created to help guard their realms and manage. You may consider me a butler, if you will. Now, allow me to explain. Have you any blueprints on you? As long as you have a blueprint, you...
Blueprint?
Yes, these are the... Just commit the image, then simply release...
Wow! Is that all it takes? Then we could build a whole...
I doubt it. He said this world is...
A golden idea.
I hardly remember myself. Well, let's not dwell on that. If there's anything you would like to ask, just...
Tea parties are a must for the well-mannered.
Maybe you're not... If you ever have any...